this session, I want to catch a 2 pound perch. Do you think you can do that for us?
I think if we really cover all our options and cover lots of ground, we should be able to winkle out a couple of good ones at least. Oh, there we go.
Good work up.
We're out here today on an absolutely beautiful piece of canal, and we've come here to do some finesse perch fishing. Now, over the next few weeks, we're delivering a series of tutorials on how to rig and fish with various styles of perch lure, from creature baits to Ned rigs. We're going to go through the lot and hopefully catch some great fish as well.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, Robbie. So you're going to teach me. I mean, I'm a carp angler by trade, and I just do a little tiny bit of this. I'm no means an expert at perch fishing. So you're going to show me how to perch fish on these creature baits, are you?
Absolutely. It's a great way to get you into it. And you've had a go before with me, haven't you, on the Broads? And if I remember, you got quite proficient with the waspin, didn't you?
Yeah, waspin's not really for me. What I really wanted to do was catch a 2 pound perch. Now, I'm really looking forward to it, but I've got to ask, why the cowboy hat?
Well, it's a nod to our cousins over in America. We've got a fantastic launch of new products. It's a Ned series of ultra tough, ultra buoyant lures which have come over from the States. They've been tested for about 8 or 9 months over there and really been successful with the bass market, and it's about time we brought them over here to catch these giant perch.
Excellent. Well, let's have a go.
Brilliant.
So, Robbie, you've set me up on what looks like a rubber crayfish and rather a large hook, fished weedless style, I think, with a large weight on the bottom of this quick release clip. So, what's the thoughts behind this then?
Okay, let's just simplify that. This one's called a Jika Rig, Ed.
Okay, Jika, right.
So essentially, you got a snap link. Your hook goes on first, followed by your weight. That gives you a really wide range of movement. It allows the lure to stand up, fall down, and that big long weight's going to kick up the silt and make it look like a crayfish scurrying along the bottom. The Jika Rig's great because it's weedless. We can cast it into cover and draw it out and hopefully catch these perch. Now, we've got 4 crayfish in our range now.
Okay.
We have a larger 4D crayfish.
Yep.
We've got these ultra stretchy, ultra tough Ned crayfish, which, I mean, they're fantastic. We've got little rattling crayfish, which is perfect for more finesse applications, and of course the reaction, which is more of a swimming craw. Okay. But I've rigged you up on the Ned crayfish because with its stand-up profile, it's probably going to be the most likely to get you a bite.
Awesome. So the Jika Rig is basically the weight onto a snap link, is that right? And the Ned crayfish, which you just called a craw, I'm guessing that's American, is it?
Yeah, so crayfish to us, craws to the Yanks, and yeah.
Just because you're wearing a hat, you know, don't mean you have to use all the American terminology.
Well, we're going to catch some salonches, mate.
Right, I'll take your word for that. So awesome. So I'm just going to cast this out to, what do you reckon, a bit of cover on the far bank?
That's it, tight into the cover, allow that to hit the bottom.
Yep.
And give it some aggressive little pops and long pauses. It wants to kick that silt up as it goes. It's part of the fascinating thing about the Jika Rig. Unlike rigs that sit directly in the bottom, it gives you that little bit of lift. At the same time, it still kicks up the silt, and it does really look like the sort of on-guard position of a crayfish. Of course, as you retrieve it, the cray falls flat like it's scurrying away, and it's a very realistic presentation.
Awesome. Let's get this cast out then, shall we?
Brilliant.
You want me to cast right into that gap, do you?
That's it. Get it nice and tight into that cover.
No pressure then. I don't want to lose it.
Well, look at that. That was perfect.
Yeah, I've cast before. Just not this rig.
Oh, it's a bit different to 3-ounce leads and clips, eh?
It is, mate, it is. So what do I do, just work it back like this?
That's it. So let it pause a little bit longer. You want to make sure that lure gets to the bottom and then give it some little pops.
Do you want to tip up or... Oh.
There you go. Oh, no, Ed.
Can't believe I got a bite first cast.
No, you have to strike. You have to strike.
So was my rod tip too high then?
No, what you did there was the issue of not being ready for that, and now you're getting hasty. But try and keep that tip up as you were. That was really good. Keep good contact with the lure as it drops and allow it to pause. But when you do get that bite, give it a little bit more of an aggressive hook set. There's a lot of lure on that hook and it's weedless, so you need some pressure to get that lure to move around the shank of the hook and set into the fish. That's a good start.
Yeah, I can't believe I got a bite first cast on it. But I can't believe I lost it as well.
Well, still part of the learning curve.
Go on then, Rob. I can tell you're dying to show me.
Even
though I hate giving you the rod when I've just had a bite, so I know you're going to catch it.
Let me demonstrate.
If this is a 2, we're going to have trouble here.
We'll give it a little underarm flick.
Yep.
We'll land there. So you can jig with your tip up, of course.
Yeah.
But you can also jig with your tip low.
Right, okay.
The important thing is maintaining contact with the lure. Those little aggressive bounces and pauses.
So you do 2 to 3 bounces and pauses, do you, and then leave it?
Yeah, you can vary the speed, mix it up. Sometimes you go a bit quicker, sometimes slower, and you just keep working different retrieves and different motions until you find what the fish really want on the day. Okay. Got a nice little cast in there, and that's perfect. Little pops and bounces with that tip, and just pausing on a reasonably tight line. Now, if you do get a good hit, you do have to set it quite aggressively.
Right, okay.
Move that rod, because I say that weedless lure is very difficult.
Yeah, that's where I got it wrong, isn't it?
I'll be honest, you've had more bites than me in that 5 minutes, so I'll give you this rod back. I'll hop down into the next swim and try and catch one myself.
Fantastic, mate, lovely.
Good luck. How you getting on, Ed?
Nothing after that one I lost early on.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to work our way down that tree line.
Yep.
And we're just going to do 15, 20 casts in each spot and then move to the next bit of cover.
Okay.
And hopefully we'll find a big one.
Excellent, mate. I'll grab my kit.
Oh, there we go. What have we got? Oh, it's a tiny pike. Come here. Well, this is a feisty little guy. You weren't what I was expecting. I thought you were going to be a nice perch.
Well, it's not what we came for, Robbie, is it?
No.
I suppose it just goes to show we can catch pretty much anything on these creature baits.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a very skinny little guy. Let's get him straight back.
That's why I took it. He's hungry.
You're back in the same one, Ed.
That's doing really well. I'm getting close to it.
All right, don't pull, don't pull.
Go on, do your trick.
Let's try and see if we can ping it off first.
That's not pinging off. Get it off?
Feeling that's gone, mate.
Joking. You're supposed to be the expert at this. So, Robbie, I've nicked your setup here while you're tying me up a new one.
Okay.
So, when would you use crayfish? When would you use these crayfish neds and rattling crayfish and this, that and the other? Would you use them literally anywhere or just waters where there are crays present and it's the perch's natural food?
Anywhere and everywhere, mate.
Really?
The interesting thing about crayfish imitations is they do seem to work on waters that seemingly have no crayfish.
So you think it's just a natural reaction of a perch just to grab hold of something like this?
Yeah, it's a big foodie thing. Fish don't have hands, so even if they're inquisitive of something, they have to test it with their mouths. And perch have been eating crayfish on other systems for generations, so it only seems natural that they'd be hardwired to take them.
So from a carp angler's point of view, it's much like a Jika Rig. You know, a bit of black foam there, they don't know what it is. Let's just take it, same as a crayfish just bouncing through and looking like something prey-y, even though they've never actually seen one before in their lives.
Yeah, I suppose you could call it a wiggly Jika Rig.
What Jika Rig?
A wiggly zig.
Wiggly zig.
That's lure fishing.
There you go.
There's some lovely bits of timber laying in the water here.
Yeah, that looks nice, nice bit of structure.
Absolutely, and it's perfect for the fish to shelter in and lay up against, so you want to give that one a go.
So even on dull days, do you think they'll be lying under this structure, even though this water's a little bit cloudy? You still think they'll be in there, do you?
Yeah, they're ambush predators as much as nomadic, so you'll have some fish laying around it and some fish that are roving out, but for the most part, they're going to be sat quite tight to it.
Okay.
And I'll just knock down to the next little gap and give that a go.
Cool. I've seen a lot of bait fish down here, Robbie. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
That's a good thing. It reinforces that they could be sat around them.
Wouldn't, if there were a lot of perch around here, wouldn't the bait fish be kind of spooked off a little bit? Or is that not the way it works?
No, they're very good at camouflaging themselves, so the bait fish can be present with the perch and they can just be sat there laying in wait for the opportunity to snatch one.
Okay. Robbie? Oh, it's a little perch. Oh! Probably not the one we're after, Robbie, but it's a nice little perch.
Yeah, it's a lovely fish to start with. What a beautiful guy, he's really fin perfect.
Yeah, he's holding his fin up for us, so
Yeah.
that's first blood.
Now we want his grandmother.
We do, yeah. So you were saying earlier, Robbie, that bigger perch tend not to be shoalfish as a whole, but having a small sort of 4 to 6 ounce perch like that, do you think there could be a few of them down here?
Absolutely, there could be a few of them down there, but there could be a bigger one in amongst them.
Oh, really?
So
Okay.
we'll give it a few more casts here, certainly, and see if we get a few more bites as well.
Cool. Let's do it. So would it be a case if I got a few more bites on this one, you'd swap to this sort of colour? Could it be a colour thing that's going on today?
Yeah, absolutely. It was interesting because after you snagged that off, I didn't want to lose any of my favourite colour, so I put you on the red one. As it happens.
Well, I suppose it's horses for courses, isn't it? Even though you were trying to stitch me up, it has worked on this instance.
It has. Well, it's a dark, very natural coloured creature bait, so I'm sure both will work, but I think you have your preferences in lure fishing and there is definitely a confidence factor. Yeah, once something's just rolled in that little timber pile there. Oh, there we go.
Oh, another one. Oh, I think the red's the one, Robbie.
Oh, there we go.
Good look up.
We're doubled.
Oh, yours is bigger.
Oh,
Yours is
mine's a pike. Yours isn't bad.
It's a bit bigger than the last one.
Same sort of size. We're doubled up.
Yeah, I might net this one.
Yeah, I'd net that one. And I'll net this one because it's quite cool. 2 different species double taking at the same time. Now, there may be tiny examples of these species. But there we go.
Well, it's nice to get a double hook up, Robbie.
Yeah, world's smallest pike and a perch.
I'm not entirely sure that yours is any bigger than mine.
No, I think yours is heavier. Shall we pop them back?
Yeah, let's get it back. That's got to land then.
Going for the range.
Yeah, long distance.
No 3 ounce leads there.
Talking about leads, Robbie.
Yeah.
What weight have I got on here? Is it 5 gram or so?
Yeah, it's 5 gram. I'm fishing on 3 because I'm probably slightly more attuned to this style of fishing.
Yeah.
But you seem to be doing really well on 5 and hitting the bites that you're getting.
So 3 to 5 would be like a very good sort of still water size to start off with, would it?
Yeah, perfect for stills and canals. But you can keep going up and up on the Jika. That's the beauty of it. It's very interchangeable.
So, Robbie, the rod I'm using here is a finesse specialist. Would you say this is about perfect for this kind of fishing?
It is. I've put you on a slightly stiffer rod just to make the hook sets easier for you.
Yeah. Is that because we're fishing weedless?
Yeah, it is. So while I'm fishing a little 2 to 10 gram combo, you're on a 7 to 20, but it is quite a soft tip on that. It progresses very quickly, so you're still getting nice fights, and you'll certainly know about it if you do hook into one of those big perch.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit more forgiving if you miss the initial bite and don't set the hook quite so hard.
Right, okay. I much prefer the action of this one. I feel much more in control than when I had a little dabble with yours earlier.
Yeah, it's a lot more direct because that tip's not so soft and bouncy. You can really feel everything on the bottom through the weight.
Yeah.
And I think that's working very well for you at the moment.
Yeah, they are nice rods, and I don't know if it's me being a carp angler, but I quite like the colour of these SG4s as well.
They are quite carpy, Ed. It's that nice subtle green. I think it suits them very nicely. They've certainly grown on me, and I use them for most of my fishing now.
So another thing I can't help but notice,
Yeah.
especially from carp fishing, is these hooks are massive. You know, well, what size are they? What size are we actually using?
Well, they're a 3.0.
3.0.
Yeah, they're not a very wide gape trio. They're 3.0 in length, but they're quite narrow, which is ideal for these slender-bodied creature baits and stuff.
Yeah.
But bear in mind, the hook's not going right down, it's catching the fish on the edge of the mouth usually.
Yeah.
Perch in particular have a very bony, tough edge to their mouth, and it's the soft flesh around the sides that you want to be hooking into. That said, you can go down to a 1/0 hook or one set of bite.
No, it's just a bit of debris.
Oh, you got twigfish.
Twigfish.
Yeah.
Okay, it just seems a very, very big hook from a carp angle. You know, I was out fishing my syndicate a few weeks ago, and I had a fish nearly 50 pounds, and that was on a size 6. So to fish a 3/0, potentially a 2-pound fish, is just a completely different contrast to me.
Well, say these Savage hooks don't have an enormous gape. It's more the length that you're benefiting from. And for me, when the fish are biting sensitively, having a fine wire hook that comes to the end of the bait is more likely to catch the fish in the mouth if it's just nipping at the half end.
Okay.
So, you know, if you're getting really confident takes, you can slip a smaller hook in there. But if you're getting lots of little rattles and pulls, having that hook point exiting higher up the bait can land you a few bonus fish, providing that the hook isn't too heavy and doesn't counteract the balance of the bait.
Okay. And I suppose you're right in the fact that most of the gape of the hook is hiding in the bait. So a size 6 probably wouldn't even get through the bait really. It'd just be it'd just be sitting there and you'd hook nothing. So on
exposed techniques like jig heads and drop shot, you'd go down considerably on the size of the hook. But for weedless rigging, as big a hook as you can get away with without compromising the lure is good. Of course, like the gape's quite important. Like if it's a very wide gape, it's going to affect how the lure sits and balances.
Yeah, of course,
so I like the style of hooks that start quite slender and narrow and curve down into a deeper bowl, which these do quite well.
Yeah, I suppose there's a lot to think about. It's not just a case of sticking a lure on any old hook. It's trying to find the hook that balances and the pattern that suits that particular lure.
Absolutely, and we all have our preferences.
Well, I know we've talked a lot about weedless, Robbie, and I kind of understand what weedless is because, you know, what we did last year and a few other people I've been out fishing with, but I suppose a lot of people won't understand what we're talking about when we talk about weedless.
No. Okay, so a weedless setup is a setup where the point isn't exposed. Now that could be done by a guard, or in the case with a lot of these weedless hooks, it's done by the lure itself. It runs off centre to the body and the hook point lays in line or flush with it. You can even dig the hook point into the plastic to make it a little bit more weedless. But it's not really weed that we're combating here, more bits of timber and small snags, so it's more beneficial being able to bump over stuff without getting hung up. And if you do, often a light ping of the rod like that will send you free. Right, don't pull on that. That's the killer mistake, Ed, is pulling. Just ping. Point the rod tip at it, give it a ping and it comes free just like that.
Awesome. I thought I had a bite just before it went into that snag then.
Well, that's being able to tell the difference comes with a little bit of practice. But
I just wondered if something tapped it just before the snag, because that was halfway, that was into the canal, so there's something quite substantial down there.
Yeah, I think there's a fallen log, but something definitely tapped it. So you can push that hook point in a bit, but let's leave the hook point exposed.
Lovely.
Better hook sets.
Let's see if we can get one.
There we go.
Well, you snuck that one out, Robbie, didn't you?
I just couldn't resist running ahead to the next bush. I'm stuck on the weed.
Oh yeah,
there
you know the hot spots, don't you?
Yeah,
you sent me up with the cray that actually did work.
Well, you've caught the target species, and I've so far managed to catch all the pikes.
He's a damn sight bigger than your last one, ain't mate? Anyway.
Has he?
It's just in the scissors, look. I
Yeah.
suppose it's quite lucky hooking these in the scissors, being I was using a fluorocarbon line rather than a trace.
Yeah, you just, last time I fished this, I didn't get much trouble with pike at all, but this time they seem to be quite prolific, but it's that time of year when they're trying to feed and bulk up, and I mean, this little guy's still quite skinny, but very pretty fin colours on him.
Nice, nice. Well, I think that's a good way to end the little crayfish session.
Okay.
I did see a rather nice pub up there. Should we go and get a sandwich and then do the salamander this afternoon?
You mean the saloon?
It's definitely a pub, Rob.
Right.
Nice one, mate. Well done.
Let's put this one back.